Today, we're diving deep into a massive cybercrime crisis that's unfolding in Meghalaya. But this isn't just about the criminals. Based on some expert analysis, this is really a story about why the very system that's supposed to protect people seems to be completely falling apart.
I mean, just picture this for a second. Everything you have worked for, your entire life savings, just gone in an instant. So you rush to the one place you think can help, the police, and they look at you and ask, "What's phishing?" This isn't some made-up story. It's the shocking reality for victims there. And it really sets the stage for a much, much bigger question.
You have to ask, right? When a crime is this widespread and the official response is that clueless, it stops being about one person's bad luck. It becomes a systemic problem. So whose failure is this, really?
So first, let's really get a handle on the human side of this. We're talking about a digital explosion where people's personal security is on the line every single day. See, the thing is, this isn't about blaming the person who clicked a bad link. The real responsibility here lies with a government that has just fundamentally failed to get its law enforcement ready for the world we live in now, leaving its own citizens completely exposed.
Okay, so let's zoom out from that one personal, devastating story. It's so important to see the true scale of this, because these are not isolated incidents. What we're looking at is a full-blown, statewide crisis. We are talking about staggering amounts of money. Crores are just being siphoned out of the pockets of regular people year after year. And that's not just a number on a screen. That number represents shattered dreams, lost college funds, and family businesses that have been totally ruined. And look at this. It shows you just how widespread the problem is. This isn't just one kind of scam. It's a multi-front war. You've got your financial frauds, your identity theft, massive data breaches, horrible cyberbullying, and even online sexual exploitation. The digital world has basically become a minefield for people.
So if the problem is this big, where's the protection? Where's the shield? Why isn't law enforcement stepping in and stopping this?
Let's circle back to that first question. What is phishing? Well, here's the textbook definition. This is cybercrime 101. It's the absolute basics. The very fact that police officers are the ones asking this question, well, it reveals a pretty terrifying gap in their knowledge.
And this just lays it all out, doesn't it? The contrast is just, wow. On one side, you've got these sophisticated global criminals using advanced, lightning-fast attacks. And on the other side, Meghalaya's response is completely crippled. We're talking hardly any trained people, no modern forensic tools, painfully slow responses, and an absolutely abysmal success rate in actually prosecuting anyone. It's like trying to fight a tank with a slingshot. It's just not a fair fight.
Now, this shocking lack of capability, it's not an accident. It's not just a case of being underdeveloped. To really get why the shield is so broken, you got to follow the money. We need to look at the choices being made at the very top. And this chart, wow, this tells a really damning story. It's not that there's no money. Look, funds are being allocated for this stuff, but then huge chunks are either left totally unspent, or, maybe even worse, they're wasted on training programs that have nothing to do with fighting modern cybercrime. So they're fighting a tank with a slingshot because someone chose not to buy the better weapon. The resources are there, they're just being horribly mismanaged. And that brings us to this incredibly powerful conclusion from the source material. When you see the budget, the lack of training, and the sheer scale of the crisis, it's really hard to argue with this. This isn't just a state that's struggling to catch up. This is a choice. This is willful negligence. So what now? If the problem is so clear and the neglect is so obvious, what can actually be done? Is this whole situation hopeless? Well, not necessarily. The analysis actually lays out a pretty clear path forward to demand change. And this isn't just about complaining. It's about systematically gathering the proof. The plan is to survey victims to get their stories on the record, use right-to-information requests to expose exactly how the budget is being mismanaged, and then compare Meghalaya to other states that are actually doing a good job. And finally, you take all that evidence and file a public interest litigation to legally force the government to act. Because ultimately, you could throw all the money in the world at this, but if the people in charge don't have the commitment, the actual political will to build a modern, effective cybercrime unit, nothing is going to change. This isn't a resource problem. It's a resolve problem. So we'll end on this question. And yeah, this deep dive was about Meghalaya. But really, it holds a mirror up to every state, every government. If the very institutions that are meant to protect you in this new digital world simply choose not to invest in your safety, well, are any of us truly safe online? That's definitely something to think about.